Hi, greetings from Edinburgh 500 Open Bible. My name is Sarah Martyr and I welcome you to our midweek meditation. Today's meditation is entitled From Cry to Comfort. We will be in the book of Psalms. We'll be Psalm chapter 77. We'll read from verses 1 to 2 and then we'll drop to verse 14. This is a psalm of Asaph. Let's read. Verse 1. I cried out to God with my voice, and he gave ear to me. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. My hand was stretched out in the night without ceasing. My soul refused to be comforted. Verse 14. You are the God who does wonders. You have declared your strength among the peoples. When we pick up this psalm, the psalmist Asaph has a cry. The psalmist Asaph is in distress. He cried to God. There's something that is happening. There's some infirmity, something that is distressing him, and he cries out to God. And I know many of us can identify to that. Sometimes we face things that causes us to cry out to God. Sometimes we face something so difficult, a cry. We have a cry. Something is happening and we need God. And so the psalmist Asaph is talking about this cry, and he's having sleepless nights. If you read the psalm, you would see that he's having sleepless nights and all these things are happening. And he's stretching out his hand to God in prayer. He's really, really crying out because something is happening and he needs God. And then if we drop down to verse 14, we will see as though something changed, something switched. It says, you are the God who does wonders. You have declared your strength among the peoples. So it went from Asaph crying and in despair to comfort. And how did this happen? Well, Asaph had a choice to make. He had to make a choice. He had to choose if he would stay crying in his cry and however he felt, or if he would come out of it and really believe God. And Asaph made a decision. He decided to remember the works of God, the mighty acts that he did of old. He remembered when God delivered the Israelites from Egypt by a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. He remembered God's acts. And this psalmist is saying, you know what? If God did it before, he can do it again. And he got comfort, in the mighty works of God, just remembering what God had done. And thinking about it, because you know what? The Israelites were God's people and Asaph is God's people and we are God's people. So if we face a cry, we too can be comforted. If we face something that is distressing and disturbing us, we too can be comforted. But if you don't know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, I invite you to accept him today. Because Asaph knew God, he was able to get to that place of comfort. Sometimes people don't know God, and so when they go through difficulty, it leads them to a dark place, a slippery slope. But instead of going to a slippery slope, because Asaph knew God and knew what God had done, it actually carried him where he needed to be, in a place of comfort, a total switch-up. And today, accept God, because he is able to change your story and turn your cry into comfort. And if you know Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior, you're a believer, well, this is an encouragement to you. If you may be crying today, if something is distressing you, it will not remain like that. You need to remember what God did of old. Even in the Bible, what he did for his people. He delivered the Israelites when it seemed impossible. God made it possible. And what about what God has done in your life before? God has taken you from stage to stage, glory to glory. He has delivered you. So today, if you face a cry, if you face distress, anything that is troubling or worrying you, you can go from that place of cry to comfort by remembering what God has done and trusting and believing that He will do it again. And that's the kind of God that we serve. He's done it before, He will do it again. So God bless you. And God is our God, our strong God, is able to take us from a place of cry to comfort. God bless you. Thank you for watching. I hope today's message blessed you. Wishing you a great week ahead.